Yo, what up, YouTube? What's up, Cowboy Nation? This is Anthony Fallon, Tone Setter Sports Channel. Let's go. Now, I've been trying to avoid talking about this whole contract thing because I've already spoken about it one too many times. Excuse me. One too many times earlier in the previous weeks. You know, leading up to OTAs and mini camp, training camp. You know what I'm saying, preseason, and I've been listening to all the spin and word twisting that the media has been playing on Jerry Jones, with Jerry Jones comments and stuff like that, with Zeke and all the erroneous things they throw out there on Dak and everything. It's just ridiculous. I mean, but I said this last year, how it was at the end of the last season, how this is going to be a spin cycle, especially when you heard the talks about Dak and whatnot. We didn't know about the Zeke thing now, and that's the point that I want. That's the thing that I want to get to, because when I was just sitting back just thinking about this now, because last week somebody was saying Dak was being greedy for what he wanted. You know what I'm saying? And Dak was a 4th round pick. Dak didn't get that money, like a 1st rounder or whatnot. Now, I'm just trying to keep things in proper perspective, because James Slater made put something out there last week when the whole $40 million rumor came out, as in what Dak wanted. But she said off the field, Dak makes about $10 million. Okay. So is that why they had the talks of Dak being like get $25 million a year or something like that? You know, a $25 million contract, because you add the 10 off the field plus the new contract of like $20 million, $25 million, somewhere in that range between 25 and 30 million. You know what I'm saying? Because of what he's making off the field and endorsements and whatnot, commercials and shit. Okay, that's understandable. Now, I want to say this, and this is about Zeke. And just thinking about it now. Now, this is, I don't need to clear the air about what Zeke means to the team and stuff like that, because I'm with Jerry Jones with this. No one man, that we should not be relying on just one man. You know what I'm saying? No, there's no one individual above the team. That's like the Temptations. You ever watch the Temptations movie? And David Ruffin thought that he was he thought he made the Temptations what it was, you know, and so Otis and everybody else voted to have him out, and it was one by one that, you know, as one person became the main, you know, the main feature, you know what I'm saying, the lead singer, their ego started to grow, like, hey, you know what I'm saying, I'm the one that's keeping this group afloat, you know, because of my voice. You know, and Zeke is like, I'm the one keeping this team afloat because of my running, because y'all running the shit out of me, and I'm the league rusher. You know what I'm saying? And I want to be the number one, the highest paid running back. Now, that's all of that is in the just like the individual stat of being the leading rusher, being the number one highest paid running back is still an individual thing in a team game. I'm not saying he should take it should be totally team friendly, you know what I'm saying? But think about this too. This is what I really want to get at. It's funny, the Dak contract situation started coming about last season, right? It's like, how they gonna pay Dak? You know what I'm saying? Then they got Amari Cooper. Then you got, you know what I'm saying? But the main thing was about Dak. You know, paying Dak next year. That this year hadn't even came yet, but they was already talking about, they was already spinning the cycle of how this was all going to play out this year, going into this season, about Dak's contract. You know what I'm saying? And how much he's going to get. Okay? Now, you got Zeke, you got 2 years left on your contract. Well, now they can hold you for 3 because of the August 8th, August 6th, whatever, of you holding out, not showing up. Well, you know, we done all heard about that, the franchise tags for 7 years, you know, blah blah blah. But my thing is this: who looks greedy? Because with that Marshall Faulk interview with Rich Eisen, you know, something came about like Dak being too greedy. No, you look greedy, bro. It doesn't look to me. You look greedy. Why? Because you felt like you should get paid before your quarterback get paid, and your contract is not even up yet. His contract is up at the end of this year. Although they can franchise tag him, but his contract is up by the end of this year. And you're like, oh, hell no. Pay me first. I'll play my contract. Because, see, this is the thing. These guys come into this league as football only. Just football. No business. No kind of business. If anything, y'all should be majoring in while y'all being like these top athletes in these colleges games is learning business. Because you should have never signed. Your agent should have never had you sign a deal. And still, you being like a top 5 draft pick, you're still right now currently is in the top 6 as far as salaries go. You're in the top 6 as far as salaries. Yearly salaries now. So you got paid off top because of your draft status. But then you come back and you want to get paid before your quarterback gets paid. That hasn't even that's on the El Cheapo. As far as a quarterback. Bruh. To me, the Cowboys got the leverage. Now, would we like to have you? Yes. Do we need you? No. I would rather go without. And that's me being a GM right now. You know, being Jerry. I'm the Black JJ right now. You know what I'm saying? That there's no one man above the team, and with that, this is why we need to transition from that period. Is that if one man doesn't show up, or one man holds out, or one man gets injured for the season, that we don't have nobody else that's capable enough to replace, to not beat him, but be just as productive, maybe 25% less productive, but nevertheless productive enough that the team can manufacture wins and get into the playoffs. It has to be a next man up mentality. Did it always work out that way? No, it hasn't worked out for us the last couple years, because look at when Tyron Smith was injured, and not last season, but the season before when Zeke was suspended and stuff. You know what I'm saying? They are some key cogs, because when we talk about, you know, they talked about we're not going to win without Zeke. No, we're not going to win without that offensive line. Period. Because look at what happened last year when we lost Travis Frederick. You know what I'm saying? Look at what happened last year when Zach Martin went down. You know what I'm saying? For a couple of games. Look at what happened last year when Tyron Smith had to miss a couple games. You know what I'm saying? Or did he? No, I don't think Tyron. But anyway, he was playing hurt. You know what I'm saying? Just look at that. That's the heart and soul of the offensive side of the whole team. It's not Zeke. Because it's not Zeke. I'm sorry. It is not. Special talent, yes. Is he elite amongst running backs in this current time, in this era? Absolutely. Can Zeke carry a team? Fuck no. You know what I'm saying? There hasn't been no running back that can carry a team, and the only one that came close to that in the last 10 years that we seen was AP. when he came off an injury and carried that team, that Minnesota team with Christian Ponder and all of them, to the damn playoffs. And they were stacking the box every week against him, and he was still getting 100 and something plus yards, 2 and 3 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? So that was the last supreme bell cow that I seen. You know what I'm saying? Zeke is not top notch, not echelon. He might be an A minus, not an A plus. I'm sorry. And he fits well within this system because this system is designed to run. The system is designed to run, and all you need is an above average running back makes him look very special. An average running back will look very good. Look at Alfred Morris. You know what I'm saying? Look at Darren McFadden. You know what I'm saying? Look at Darren McFadden. Look at DeMarco Murray. You know what I'm saying? He was slightly above average. He was like a B running back. And look at the production that he had behind the offensive line. Because see, if you have a running game, a adequate above average to B level running back should produce some very solid numbers. Is that we just need to have a running game for Dak, for the defense, for the wide receiver core to open up, so it'll open up the passing lanes, and then you need the wide receiver core to open up the passing lanes to open up the run game. You get what I'm saying? So they need to kill that. I mean, because really, Zeke, you look like you being the greedy one, bro, by holding out. And if that's the case, that's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to bash Zeke because I think he's wonderful. I think he's wonderful. I was saying they needed to kind of cut back his touches last year. You know, everything that I say is happening a year later. It's happening a year later. And now we're trying to evolve into a passing where the quarterback is going to eventually have to take over because of the short shelf life of a running back. You know what I'm saying? Peace out to Mark Holmes and Joe Boo. You know, because he made that. Was it him? It was either him or Law Nation that was taught that gave the comparison of Seattle. You know what I'm saying? And Russell with Marshawn Lynch his first 3 years, and then after Lynch got hurt, it then eventually went away, and without the top defense, you know what I'm saying, look at what they had to evolve into, or Russell had to evolve, and the team had to evolve into him being the dominant factor, you know what I'm saying, of why the team wins. You know, so eventually, but I've said that earlier, that we're going to have to get away. We're going to have to get away from that, and it's going to have to convert over to the quarterback, you know what I'm saying, to put his team on his shoulders. But Dak is still grooming. Dak is still getting better, you know what I'm saying. When he started understanding this defense is better and stuff like that, you know, getting better on his reads, work on his accuracy, refine his mechanics, you know what I'm saying. Long as he continues to work on those, everything else he already has as far as the intangibles and everything else, and the team just remain balanced. So, you know, that's the only thing, is that your holdout, bro, it is the distraction. It's this year's version of you being suspended. It's this year's version of the Las Vegas incident. It's this year's version of the whole domestic violence thing that you had. You know what I'm saying? It's this year's version of you flipping the shirt off the top of flipping the woman's shirt up, showing her breasts. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what this is, by you holding out when all you had to do was just come to camp, bro. And we would have none of this media talk, all of this media hype for them to spin things around, all this public court of opinion and stuff like that. Because if Jerry was to make it very, very personal about him going to back for you and stuff like that, and maybe that still does factor in. But the point that I'm trying to make is this, is that now you have turned it over, you have made it very personal by holding out and saying that you are above everybody else, and by wanting to be number one for what you only gonna be number one for so long. The top paid running back, you know what I'm saying? When you already in the top 6, bro. I mean, so I'm with the team on this one. It's like, yo, we're gonna have to play without you until we get this resolved. I'll be glad to have you back once we're able to find that middle ground that's in agreement with the team and agreement with you, you know. But for the meantime, we're gonna have to play with who we got. So if you're willing to hold out all the way till mid-season or whatnot until you're satisfied, until we're satisfied, then so be it. At the same time, we're going to transition over and have we drafted these young running backs so that we can always have, and linemen, that offensive linemen, now that we got them back, so that we can just have a solid running game with or without you. Now, we can't find nobody to replace you, but nevertheless, we're going to have a solid running game, a dominant running game. We're going to run the ball when we need to run the ball. Simple as that. Regardless of who I put in, Pollard, Morris, you know what I'm saying, whoever we decide to keep after this 50-man, after this roster is down to 53 men. We're going to rock with whoever's there. And yes, they have no choice but to say that, but that's the way it has to go. Because I got to worry about everybody else, and to make this team a dynasty. I was talking about this last year. This team is on the way they draft, or have been drafting and finding diamonds in the rough in the lower rounds and stuff like that. This team could be a dynasty. Now, do you want to be part of that? That's up to you. Or are you more worried about your individual concerns of being the highest paid because individually you have been the most dominant running back? That's up to you, Zeke. The ball is in your court. This is Anthony Fallon, y'all. Tone Setter Sports Channel. Peace. I'm out.